This film is set against the backdrop of the long-standing rivalry between the United States and Russia. Although the two nations never engaged in open warfare, their conflict continued in the shadows through the world of espionage. The problem was that the old methods of intelligence agents were considered outdated. They had become too predictable and easy to recognize. For that reason, the Russian government devised a new approach. They created a special program that trained women to master the art of manipulation. They were taught to use their allure, seduce targets, and get close enough to extract their deepest secrets. These agents came to be known as SPARROWs.
You have been selected because of your beauty.
Your body belongs to the state.
You'll be trained to determine a target's weakness.
You must learn to sacrifice for a higher purpose.
The story centers on a woman named Dominika, a talented ballerina from Russia who had dedicated her life to dance since childhood while caring for her ailing mother. One day, she left her mother in the care of a nurse and prepared for an important performance.
Did I tell you, my darling?
It should be back at 10.
Okay.
Among the audience was her uncle, Ivan, a high-ranking official in the Russian intelligence service. There, a man named Dmitry Ustinov, who had strong ties to the criminal underworld, asked to take a photo with Dominika. His behavior crossed the line, making her extremely uncomfortable. The performance began. Dominika danced gracefully, mesmerizing the audience. But soon tragedy struck. Her male partner misstepped, fell, and landed on Dominika's leg, shattering it badly. She was rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery. Meanwhile, the story introduced Nate Nash, a CIA operative carrying out a covert mission in Moscow. One day, he prepared to meet his contact, known only by the codename Marble, in Gorky Park. But before the meeting could take place, the police suddenly appeared. To save his informant, Nate fired his gun into the ground to distract the officers. This gave Marble a chance to escape, while Nate himself was caught and brought to the U.S. Embassy.
What the fuck were you thinking?
I was protecting my ass, yeah.
Those guys in the park? They weren't there for Marble. They just got lucky.
There, he was told Marble had gotten away safely, but for security reasons Nate had to be pulled out immediately. Back in Russia, Ivan attended a meeting with the SVR director and General Vladimir Korchnoi. They reviewed footage of the park incident and noticed a mysterious figure who managed to escape.
My question is, who is he?
In the hospital, Dominika awoke from surgery. Her leg was now held together by metal braces, and she gradually realized her ballet career was over. Months passed, and she was still walking with a cane. One day, her uncle Ivan came to visit. He informed her that her position had already been replaced, meaning all the privileges she once enjoyed were revoked. Ivan offered to help, but emphasized the decision was up to Dominika. Before leaving, he handed her an envelope containing photos. The photos revealed her stage partner with a new ballerina. From that, it became clear he had sabotaged her for his own gain.
You know, Dominika, there are no accidents. We create our own fate.
Consumed with rage, Dominika went to the theater, observed the two, and followed the man to a sauna. There she found the pair together, and unable to restrain herself, she attacked him with her cane. Afterwards, she made an anonymous call to report an accident. Her reputation destroyed, and with no options left, she finally turned to her uncle. Ivan agreed to help, but on one condition. Dominika had to carry out a task. She was ordered to approach Dmitry Ustinov, the same man who had acted indecently toward her, and seduce him to obtain information. Though hesitant, she agreed for the sake of her mother's medical expenses. That night, she dressed up and met Dmitry at a hotel.
Just do what he asks. When he drops his guard, I want you to replace his phone with a duplicate.
She succeeded in catching his attention and followed him into his room. But before things escalated, a masked man suddenly entered and killed Dmitry. He covered Dominika with a coat and led her out safely. The man was Konstantin, a field agent working for Ivan. Soon after, Ivan explained that Dominika now knew a major state secret. That meant there were only two choices: work for the government or be eliminated. With no alternative, Dominika reluctantly agreed. She was then sent to state school for a special training ground for sparrows. There, recruits were trained to turn both body and mind into weapons, with sexual allure as their main tool. Upon arrival, Dominika was greeted by the headmistress, known only as the matron.
If you cannot be of service to the state, I am to put a bullet through your head.
The next day, training began. The matron delivered a speech declaring that the world was in chaos, and only Russia was bold enough to do whatever it took to restore order. She emphasized that from that moment on, their bodies belonged to the state and they must be ready to carry out any mission without hesitation. Meanwhile, Nate attended a CIA internal hearing where he was criticized for jeopardizing the Moscow operation. Though suspended, he defended himself, arguing he was the only one with a strong bond with Marble. The CIA eventually gave him a second chance, assigning him to Budapest to re-establish contact. At Sparrow School, training grew harsher. In one session, the matron displayed photos of ordinary people on a screen and asked the trainees to guess their hidden desires. Victor, an arrogant student, failed miserably. Dominika stepped forward and gave an accurate analysis, humiliating him.
Very good, Katya. Anya, come here for a moment.
In another exercise, a female trainee failed to seduce the man provided, showing how grueling the standards were. The following day, the students were ordered to service young soldiers returning from war. Dominika chose one and carried out the task decisively. Afterwards, the matron critiqued her performance in front of the class, saying Dominika had technique but was still holding herself back. The comment unsettled her, but she stayed composed. Not long after, Victor attacked her in the shower. Dominika quickly fought back using the water spigot, leaving him injured. The incident caused a stir, even reaching the leadership. General Korchnoi himself came to investigate. Speaking directly to Dominika, he asked her reasoning. Calmly, she replied that she served the state, not her peers. The answer surprised the general. In the next exam, observed via camera, the matron asked Dominika to identify Victor's true desire. In front of the class, Dominika stripped and challenged him. But Victor refused and stormed out humiliated. Dominika then explained that what Victor truly wanted was not her, but power. Her response impressed Korchnoi, earning her a special mission to Budapest, get close to Nate Nash, and uncover Marble's identity.
There is a traitor highly placed in the government. What I want from you is to get close to him. Till you sacrifice whatever needs to be sacrificed.
And what reward will they give you? A promotion?
I understand you are angry with me.
You sent me to horse school.
I made you special again. You have a gift.
Welcome to Budapest.
Upon arriving in Budapest, Dominika lived with Marta, a seasoned sparrow. Her operation was overseen by Maxim Volantov, the local SVR station chief. Dominika observed Nate and learned he often swam at a pool. She approached him, pretending to be an interpreter at the embassy. Nate was cautious but friendly. The next day, Nate didn't show up, and Dominika realized her identity had been stolen.
How did you know I was Russian?
It's just a guess. I've never seen you at any of the embassy lands.
I haven't been here long. Excuse me.
In fact, Nate already knew who she was and had reported it to his superiors. He planned to turn her to their side.
She came in under the name Katerina Zakova, but her real name is Dominika Igorova. There's officially no record of her being SVR, but that's bullshit. She's here for Marble. She's Ivan Igorov's. She's gold. I know it.
Okay, see what you can find out.
One day, Dominika spotted Marta meeting with Stephanie Boucher, a U.S. government employee. Suspicious, she investigated further. Soon after, Nate admitted he had her identity and knew her assignment. Dominika confessed she had been tasked to seduce him and invited him to dinner. But first, she searched Marta's room and discovered proof that Marta was selling information to Stephanie. Later, she provoked Maxim at a bar until he shoved her. The incident was caught on camera and used to blackmail him into reporting positive results to Moscow.
Tomorrow you will write a favorable report that you're impressed with the progress I've made with Nash. Or I'll have you arrested for assault. Look at the camera over my left shoulder. You'll be recalled to Moscow and your career will be over.
While Nate waited at the restaurant, Dominika instead followed him home. There, she asked about the Gorky Park incident, listened to his account, then kissed him. But Nate stopped and sent her home. The next day, Ivan pressed her for updates. Dominika lied, saying she was working with Marta and Stephanie and needed extra funds. Ivan looked suspicious but didn't react. As he left, Dominika noticed his passport and memorized crucial details. Returning home, she found Marta dead in the bathroom. Before she could panic, Konstantin appeared and strangled her, warning that this was the fate of traitors. Meanwhile, Nate received word that Marble had signaled Dominika was a Sparrow. The CIA grew doubtful, but Nate insisted she could be flipped.
Told you she was way out of your league.
I think she's still recruitable.
He met Dominika and said he knew her true identity. She opened up, sharing her life story and emphasizing that everything she did was for her mother. Nate offered her the chance to become a double agent with U.S. protection. She hesitated, but Nate assured her she could trust him. Their bond grew stronger. The next day, Dominika faced a polygraph test at CIA headquarters. She passed, and in return she requested funds to buy information from Stephanie.
$30,000 to start. She's agreed to sell information on a satellite defense system.
Excuse me?
Chief of Staff, run by the SVR.
I'm to fly to London on Friday to meet with her.
On the appointed day, Dominika and Maxim traveled to London to meet Stephanie. Dominika stayed in a hotel room wired with hidden cameras, prepared with a fake disc for the exchange. Meeting Stephanie, she claimed to be Marta's successor, gained her trust, and received the disc. She secretly swapped it with a fake one. But Stephanie, sensing surveillance, panicked, discarded the money, and ran into the street where she was hit by a truck and killed. Russian agents monitoring suspected sabotage, blaming Dominika and Maxim. Both were recalled to Moscow. Upon arrival, Ivan seized the disc and ordered Dominika and Maxim detained and interrogated.
You gave Boucher to the Americans?
No.
Let's start again. Did you give Boucher to the Americans?
No.
Are you working for the Americans?
I love my country.
You gave Boucher to the Americans.
No.
Last time, did you tell the Americans about Boucher?
Maxim broke under pressure and was killed, while Dominika stood firm and denied involvement. Eventually, Ivan believed her and sent her back to Budapest to continue the original mission of finding Marble's identity. Back in Budapest, she reunited with Nate. They spent the night together, but at midnight, Konstantin broke in and tortured Nate for information. Dominika pretended to help, but ultimately turned on Konstantin, incapacitating him. Nate survived, though both were gravely injured. After enduring brutal torture on her final mission, Dominika was hospitalized. There, she received a surprising visit from General Korchnoi. Beneath his calm demeanor, Korchnoi revealed the shocking truth. He was Marble, the double agent leaking secrets to the CIA. He confessed his betrayal wasn't for money, but out of disillusionment with Russia. When his wife fell gravely ill, the state forbade him from seeking treatment abroad. Helpless, he lost the person he loved most. Since then, he vowed to fight from within as a double agent. But now, his position was in grave danger as his identity could be exposed at any moment. He asked Dominika to take the greatest risk, hand him over to Russia as the traitor. That way, Russia would fully trust Dominika, and she could take his place while saving her mother. Dominika was stunned by the request. She knew that turning Korchnoi meant sacrificing a vital CIA asset. Yet behind her cold expression, she devised a cunning plan. Instead of betraying Korchnoi, she decided to flip the situation with a subtler move. She met with Russian officials, claiming she knew the real traitor but would only reveal it in exchange for full freedom. Russia agreed and arranged a special meeting at the airport to reveal the supposed traitor. On the appointed day, Nate was present. He was disheartened, believing Dominika was about to betray the CIA. But when the moment came, it was not Korchnoi who appeared, it was Ivan, Dominika's own uncle. Everyone was shocked as the accusations fell on him. Dominika had carefully built evidence showing Ivan was the one who sabotaged the London mission. As the official in charge, he should have taken responsibility, but instead he covered it up and blamed others to protect his position. In this narrative, Ivan was painted as the true traitor, an ambitious man willing to abuse power. Dominika succeeded in planting the idea that Ivan was the real traitor, while Korchnoi remained safe and untouched.
This is one of the discs Boucher gave us. It's supposed to have come from the DOD. It's a fake. The discs you passed on to the president. Your personal victory. You killed me.
Nate, though initially disappointed by her deception, realized her brilliance. Russia executed Ivan on the spot, and Dominika was airlifted out by helicopter.
Target is in range.
Hailed as a national hero for exposing a traitor. In a formal ceremony, she received a Medal of Honor, standing beside General Korchnoi, who remained free. Outwardly, she appeared loyal to Russia, but in truth, she had been playing both sides with unmatched cunning. In the end, she returned home to her mother, now with freedom and full control over her life. This plot twist proved that Dominika was not merely a pawn, but a master player capable of flipping the entire game. She chose to protect Korchnoi because she needed an ally within Russia's elite circle. Meanwhile, Nate finally realized that Dominika had been playing far more intelligently than he ever imagined. The film Red Sparrow teaches us that life sometimes forces people to survive in ways they never chose. Dominika, who began simply as a ballerina, was thrust into a world of intrigue, betrayal, and manipulation. Yet beneath the brutal spy games, she showed that cunning, resilience, and courage could be deadlier than any weapon. The message is clear. No matter how dire the situation, never surrender full control of your life to others. Protect those you love, use your wits, and be the kind of person who can turn the tables even when the world tries to bring you down. Because in the end, freedom and choice belong to us alone.